Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Bruce just going to come down and it's going to just tell us why Theo's special and what we're here for today. So no pressure there.
Are we on? Nice and loud. Hi everyone. I'm Andrew, husband of Heather, who's over there. We've known Matthew I've known Matthew for about 16 years. He used to be in our youth group when he was a bit smaller, Matthew. And for probably, is it 7 years now? So I'm honoured really that you asked us to say this at Theo's dedication. What we're going to do, we're going to record a message for Theo to watch when he's a bit older. So I won't be talking in sort of baby language. I'm really going to talk to Theo as though he was a bit more than an adult and a teenager. So we're leaving like a message in a bottle, and Matthew's going to play it back in his high-tech fashion as he usually does. So to start our message, it starts with a bit of good news and a bit of bad news for you, Theo. Firstly, the good news, and I think you've already heard this in other bits of the service, is it comes from Psalm 127, verses 3 to 5. Children are a gift from God, they are a reward from Him. So you, Theo, you are a gift from God. God has a plan and a purpose for your life. And this will be true even if you've been born in poverty or if you're born into royalty. And this plan, it will stay true even when everything seems to be going wrong in your life. God still has a plan and a purpose for your life. In Jeremiah 29 it says, "For I know that I have the plans for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and the future." So God has plans for you. That's the good news. The bad news, I can get the slide up. If you want to get on in life, you're going to have to respect these guys. In Ephesians verse 6 it says, "Children, do what your parents do. This is only right. Honour your father and mother is the first commandment which has a promise attached to it, namely, so that you will have a good and a long life. Fathers," Matthew, "don't exasperate your children by coming down hard on them. Take them by the hand and lead them in the way of the Master." Right now, Theo, your parents are fantastic people to be with, but there will come a time when you don't think so. Samuel Clemens, everybody heard of him? He once said, "When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant that I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he'd learned in 7 years." Let's face it, parents are annoying. I know this because I am one. I don't know why I'm annoying, but I'm regularly reminded, my kids are over there by the way, Sarah and Samuel, I'm regularly reminded how annoying I am. I hardly need to do anything to be annoying. Sometimes I can just say hello in a long tone, and that's enough. But I've also discovered I'm not alone, and when I speak to other parents of teenagers, I find out that they are also annoying. Not to me, but to their children. So in spite of this, Theo, God's message to you is to respect your parents, and you will live well and have a long life. So the challenge to you is to believe that this is true and to respect them in spite of how you feel. Why will we live well and have a long life? Well, in truth, it's a mystery. But I think one reason is that we can learn from them, we can gain wisdom, and then we can make good decisions for ourselves. Anyone can learn from their own mistakes, but it's a wise person who learns from other people's mistakes. And our parents are the ones who are most likely to admit their mistakes to us. So, learn to listen, Theo. Proverbs 1, verses 8 to 9 says, "Pay close attention, my friend, to what your father tells you. Never forget what you learned at your mother's knee, where their counsel like flowers in your hair, wings on your fingers." So that's enough about parents. We don't want to be switching off this DVD before we get any further. Let's talk about friends. We've got some friends down here. They're fine. Friends are really important. You'll make lots of friends in your lifetime, Theo. In Proverbs again it says, "Friends come and go, but a true friend sticks to you like family." Sticks by you like family. The Bible says that if you want to have friends, you have to be a friend. So I want to encourage you to be a faithful friend. And I've got a picture coming up in a minute. Not just yet, it's a picture of my faithful friend, one of my faithful friends. Anybody guess what he looks like? Oh, it's too late. There he is. He's called Alfie. He's a 7-month-old Cocker Spaniel puppy. And he's a faithful friend. We've thoroughly enjoyed having him in our household. And I thought you might like to see a video of Alfie. I'm sorry if you're not a dog lover. But I've got 2 little video clips. The first one is of Alfie on a good day, behaving himself and doing what he's told. So hopefully this is the benefit of working with animals when they're recorded. They do what he's told. So here we go. Have we got sound? Can you put sound on?
Charlie.
Can you play that again?
Charlie. You want Charlie?
Alfie, sit. Good. Alfie, sit. Alfie, say what? Good boy. Say what? Good boy. Alfie, sit. Alfie, sit. Down. Roll over. Good boy. Remember this kid. Good. So sometimes Alfie's really well behaved, but sometimes he's not. So the next bit of the video clip, I need to explain a little bit. We discovered he likes dancing on the plate. So we put a plate on the floor and he starts dancing on it. And we decided to record this, and we'll never wince at the end. And he kind of disappears from view. What he'd actually done is charged at me in my stomach. I don't know why, he got a bit wild and then he charged me in my stomach. So, but watch my son's reaction at the end. So you can... Why is it? I haven't seen him laugh like that for ages. You can see the kids have got lots of respect for me, can't you? So, friendship, he's a great friend, Alfie. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad, but he loves me all the time. He's a fantastic friend, and I'd encourage you to be like that, Theo. It's not all easy though, Theo. Sometimes you're going to need to dare to be different. Proverbs again. 1 verse 10, it says, "Dear friends, if bad companions tempt you, don't go along with them." It's tempting to want to blend in and go along with the crowd. We call this peer pressure, and you'll feel a lot of it as you're growing up. But there will be times when that's a bad idea, and you will need courage, Theo, to make good choices. As you grow up, you will no doubt hear some myths about Christianity. Some people will tell you it's all about being good enough, earning a place for yourself in heaven. Actually, it's all about being forgiven. However, if we could somehow qualify and be good enough, then there was no need for the cross. God came, and God has made a way for you, Theo, to come back to Him. So don't try to make your own way back. It won't work. There'll come a time in your life, Theo, when you can make an important choice whether or not to put God first in your life. In Proverbs it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and don't lean on your own understanding. In all things acknowledge Him and He shall direct your ways. Your parents can't make a choice for you, which is why we're dedicating you to God today and leaving you to make the choice for yourself when you're older. So, I asked the question, how will God respond? And Jesus told a story in Luke 15, verses 11 to 32, to show us what God's like and what sort of reaction we can expect from God. And it's called Parable of the Lost Son. It's quite a famous parable. And I'll just read it to you. Jesus continued, there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate. So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. He'd spent everything. After he'd spent everything, there was a severe famine in that country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his field to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him any. When he came to his senses, he said, how many of my father's hired men have food enough to spare, and here I am, starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I've sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make your life one of your hired men. So he got up and he went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him, and he was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said to him, Father, I've sinned against you, against heaven and earth. Against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fatted calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So they began to celebrate. And I believe that story tells us here that God will welcome you with open arms. You can be sure of that. So just to summarise, Theo, you have a gift from God. God has a plan and a purpose for your life. Learn to respect your parents and to learn from them. Be a faithful friend and choose to put God first in your life. With Him, you will have a great future ahead. God bless you, Theo.
We're going to sing a last song just before I think Matthew wraps up. So if you'd like to just stand, we're going to sing.